Hi, my name is Mark Warner and I'm a lecturer at Northumbria University in Newcastle in the United Kingdom. And in this short video I want to give you a taster of the work I've been involved in with colleagues from University College London. In particular, an excellent researcher, Laura Lascau, who's currently completing her PhD. So errors and regrets in verbal communication happen all of the time. I'll make some during this video in the Q&A. However, most people are quite adept at correcting their verbal errors and correcting them on the fly. Here's an example of David Cameron, a politician trained in communication, making and correcting an error during a speech. And notice how he says career defining rather than country defining when discussing the implications of an election.
This election is so important, and that's why whatever your views and whichever party you support, please make sure you do vote on May the 7th. This is a real career-defining, country-defining election that we face in now less than a week's time. Thank you very much.
So the big difference between these types of incidents occurring in verbal communication as opposed to text-based communication is that in text-based communication there's an accurate conversation history, and so errors are far more persistent. Unlike verbal, which requires people to recall these incidents from an often less than perfect memory, text-based communication errors are written down and can be read and then reread. So what motivated us towards this research was the introduction of message delete features in mobile messaging apps. We wanted to better understand how and why message deletions are used in the remediation of error and regrets in messages, and how these deletions are perceived by recipients. So, to achieve this, we developed a multi-stage survey approach. The first survey asked more general questions related to how people perceived and used message deletion features. And what we did in this first stage is to ask each participant whether they had recently experienced a message delete incident. And we defined recent as an incident occurring within the previous 7 days. And if they had, we asked them if they would like to or be willing to engage in a follow-up survey. And then this follow-up survey was then sent the following day, so very recently. We actually sent out 4 slightly different surveys depending on whether the person reported being the sender or recipient and whether they were in a pairwise or group chat. So in our findings, we generally found a hesitancy to use the message delete feature. And one reason for this was the residual delete indicator that is sent when a message is deleted. Participants were concerned that the recipient may develop negative assumptions around why the message was deleted and what it may have said. For example, one participant stated, well, in the past, when my girlfriend has seen this notification, she's gotten anxious about why I have deleted something. And similarly, at least 2 friends of mine have thought the same. This appeared to be more significant in emotionally charged conversations, such as argumentative conversations. For instance, a participant said, if it would be something I sent during an argument, I would rather leave it in than delete it in case it looked like I typed something rash. Where we did see deletions being used, these were predominantly in less emotionally charged conversations and usually to improve the conversation in some way, for example by reducing confusion. One of our participants stated, we were trying to arrange dates for a trip, and then subsequently described the deleted message as a previous message referring to other dates than the ones we finally decided, and then suggested that it was better to delete them to avoid confusion. We also see deletions creating an information gap. Why was the message deleted and what was said? We found some recipients developing what we term in the paper bridging narratives, and essentially these are assumptions as to why a message was deleted based on certain conversation cues, as well as projecting their own past behaviours and observations onto the deletion behaviours of others. Often these were developed to reduce the perceived significance of the deleted communication, for example explaining it away. So in this paper, we also look at alternative non-delete remediation strategies and develop a number of implications from our study findings that could be used to develop more supportive and usable error and regret remediation within computer-mediated communications. So I hope you found this short video interesting enough to read our paper, and I look forward to speaking about it with you in the Q&A.